So this is for you. Before we get started, just so you know, what you're going to put on here is, what is it I am willing to let go of? It could be anything. We'll talk about that I'm willing to let go of. Because what happens with flash paper is when you put it to fire and throw it in the air, it disappears. So symbolically, what do I not want to carry into 2018 with me? And that could be a whole lot of different things. That's why I said for me, I might want 2 pieces of paper. Not sure yet. Or I should have ordered sheets of it instead of little squares. It does come in sheets, by the way. So let's talk about new beginnings. What does that mean? You know, caterpillars are one of the things we normally use when we talk about new beginnings, because there is such a transformation from one of those little fuzzy things moving on the ground or on a stick, you know, or on your finger, those little things that, you know, they feel really weird when they're crawling on your hand and they're all kind of fuzzy. And you forget when you look at a butterfly, that's how they all started. Those funny little long creatures, little fuzzy, I think some of them are like black and kind of yellow. They turn into beautiful butterflies. And the caterpillar doesn't know, I don't think, maybe it does, that it's already a butterfly. That butterfly already exists in that caterpillar. It's already waiting to be transformed. And so as we leave 2017, it's an opportunity to look at the truth of who you already are. You know, we teach here we're all God in form, and that is great and a wonderful expression. And yet, are we living that day by day, week by week, moment by moment? Are we living that, oh yeah, I'm behaving like the great prophet Jesus all the time? Well, even Jesus like threw over tables sometimes. And some of us would say not very Jesus-like, except when Jesus was doing it, he was still Jesus. So evidently, yes, that too is part of the God that we are. And so when we, if you will, behave in some way that we may deem unattractive, and we deem that ourselves, don't we? We hold the biggest stick, I believe. And so when we deem that as a behavior that isn't attractive, then we have an opportunity to change it. Because once something happens, it's done. The insanity is when we know that we don't want to behave that way, and yet we do the same thing over and over again, and we think that the behavior is going to be different, like it's going to run out of steam. The only way you can change a behavior is to truly change and decide to approach something differently, to be different, to be more kind, to be more loving, to be more understanding, to show up and embrace the truth of who you are. And that's not always easy, because depending on how old we are, and maybe it doesn't depend on how old we are, they say, and Dr. Bad is in the back of the room, so she'll nod or she'll shake her head, 7 years old or earlier, that we kind of decide we carry those with us. 7? Pardon? Younger than 7. A lot of our personality, or a lot of the ideas that we carry now as adults about ourselves, we formulated in our lives before we were 7. Brady's our newest member. Brady is 7. Now just imagine, I love Brady. I just met him, but he's adorable. We had quite a conversation this week, didn't we? So I really like Brady. However, at 65, I don't want Brady making decisions for me. As much as I think he's fabulous, and I do, I don't want a 7-year-old making decisions about how I behave. And yet, most of us allow that to happen in our lives. We allow that 7-year-old, because we were all Brady's age at one time, we allow that 7-year-old to make decisions when we're tired, when we're angry. I'm going to use halt. When we're hungry, angry, lonely, tired. That is when we are not at our best. It doesn't mean that we can't be at our best even when we're through those things. However, depending on when we decided to transform, depending on we thought, wait a minute, there's a butterfly in here. There is a butterfly in this caterpillar. I want to start being the butterfly. And so we start hanging around. We start coming to places like Genesis. We start taking the classes. We start reading books to decide, does this work for me? Or maybe this works for me. We're constantly seeking. Transformation, here's the deal, maybe for caterpillars and butterflies, for humans, transformation never stops until you breathe in that last breath. You are always transforming. You know, Ernest Holmes said, change your thinking, change your life. Ernest Holmes is the founder of this philosophy. Change your thinking, change your life. He did not say, change your thinking, change your life on December 31st, and then be good with it until December 31st rolls around again. Change your thinking, change your life is a process that you can go through every moment of every day. Symbolically, as a culture, we do that at the end of a year. We do that on birthdays. We do that on the equinox, on the solstice. We do that on things where we kind of celebrate together. And yet, literally, every moment of every day, you have an opportunity to shift your thinking around something. Anything. To shift your thinking and decide, what if I stop behaving that way? Now, I will tell you, when you go, what if I stop behaving that way? And you stop, I promise you, that behavior will come back around. And you'll go, oh, I thought I stopped behaving that way. And how I am easy on myself when that happens is I remind myself I have had this much practice of my life being a particular way. I found this philosophy 15 years ago, 16 years ago. I'm a lot older than 16. Prior to finding this philosophy, I kind of lived my life, shooting from the hip. And so to be conscious is to be awakened and to realize there's a butterfly in here. And everybody, I think, eventually feels that at some time in their life. There's a butterfly in here, and I want to be different. And so we're going to go through this process of symbolically releasing things and tossing it into the air and watching it disappear magically, because it gives us an opportunity as a group and together to say, what would my life be like if I no longer did this? If I no longer said this? If I no longer thought this? What would my life be like? And so I've got some questions that I want you to think about before we start the process. These were written by David Alt in 2004, and I posted it on, I think, my Facebook page, if you're on Facebook, because there's also an explanation along with them. But I think it's it's a good reminder to ask ourselves these questions at the end of every year. Did I express love this year? Real love. And if you're kind of wondering, well, I did this instead of expressing love, then maybe that's a word you want to write down on your paper. What is it to express real love? Real love is to love somebody without expectation of them even loving you back. That's real love. To look at somebody and see the good that they are instead of looking at somebody and judging what you perceive they're not. Did I express love this year? Did I forgive this year? Really forgive. And really forgive means you need to let go of self-righteousness. To really forgive. And you do not have to forgive somebody's act if they were unkind. What you forgive is the God within them. You know, the namaste. The God in me sees the God in you. Can you really forgive someone? And if you can really forgive them, it means the expression of they don't get to walk across your mind with their dirty little footprints. Do you have those people that walk across your mind, and the minute you hear their name in your mind, you immediately start to go to a story on how they've done you wrong? You got those people? Put their names down so you can release them. Did I stop this year? And what I mean by stop is, did you really take time with you, yourself, and I? Nobody else. Do you spend time with yourself? And there is that phrase from the invitation, and do you like the company that you keep? That's stopping. That is recognizing and holding on to the preciousness of who you are. Going back to the forgiveness, the first person you should always forgive is yourself. Always. We forget that. We're so busy forgiving other people, we forget we need to forgive ourselves. Did you seek adventure this year? Real adventure. I've shared with you before, I am the original leap and the net will appear girl. You know, adventure is, are you willing to step out and do something that you've never done before that means you're going to have to walk through your fear? Have you ever jumped out of an airplane? Have you ever gone to Cambodia? Well, I've jumped out of an airplane. You know, something, and for some people it is, have you ever just sat down and had a conversation with somebody and really found out who they are? That can be an adventure, and do you know that is probably one of the hardest things that we humans do, is to really sit with somebody and talk to them and look them in the eye and ask them questions. Think about that. That in itself, that should be an adventure we all do together. Did you seek wellness this year? I didn't. I'm seeking it in 2018. I shared with somebody this morning, I said to my husband, we're just going for it until midnight, 12:31. I've never eaten so many brownies in my entire life. But I figure the sugar high will at least carry me through the first week of December. So you know, if we believe this is the house of the divine, you know, we are God in form. Our soul lives here that goes on and on forever. Are we taking care of this? Are we really taking care of this? You know, and eating healthy, whatever that looks like for you, I can't define that for people. Everybody's got a different idea of what it looks like to eat healthy, and that's fine. Whatever your idea is, are you doing it? Are you exercising, whatever that looks like? Some people, it's going to the gym every single day and they work out for an hour. God bless them. That's not me. However, am I doing something every day? Can I walk at least 10,000 steps a day? You're right. Quit telling on me. Shh. And that's my intention. You know, I've had a Fitbit for a long time. And I go through these periods. I'm going to walk 10,000 steps every single day. And then I go through periods if I get 3,000 a day, and those are more normal. I fall off. And my intention this year is to be more mindful. Because here's the deal. You know, as home groups, we're starting off looking at the 4 agreements. The first agreement is be impeccable with your word. That means being impeccable with yourself about your word. So if you say, I'm going to do 10,000 steps a day, and you're going to be impeccable with your word, you better get your legs a-moving, girlfriend. Right? Otherwise, I'm out of impeccability. So I'm going to stand up here and tell you all, starting tomorrow, not today, 10,000 steps a day. Oh boy, I hate it when I make an announcement like that. Did you play this year? Really play? Did you have fun? You know, sometimes we forget. You know, we have expectations. Church isn't supposed to be fun. You know, work isn't supposed to be fun. But what if it is? What if it is? What if when you come here, you have fun? Yeah, he's okay. I like it when he talks back to me. He's fine. What is that like to really own the fact? Do we really believe if we are the divine idea of God in form, that God doesn't want us to have fun? Do we really believe that? Just a question. Have fun. Did you set a goal? See it to completion. Really complete it. I can say a heck yes to that one. And if not, you know, set a goal. Every manifestation, every transformation book out there will tell you not only to set a goal and not just in your mind, write it down. Because it's really easy to say, oh yeah, I have a goal. Here it is. It's in my head. If you put it on paper, it's more real. If you say it out loud, bring in all your senses. Write it down. Say it out loud. Share it with a friend who's going to support you. I promise you it will manifest in the time that you give it, however long you decide. And set goals. You know, it's great to say, you know, I want to go to Italy this year. And then to look and say, okay, and is that going to manifest in my life this year? For me personally, probably not. So that is not a short-term goal for me. However, I do have some short-term goals. And my commitment to myself is this year, I am going to start to really live those goals. Because they're goals for me personally to shift me, my consciousness. You know, it could be goals around your spiritual practice. It could be goals around your friendships. They don't always have to be goals about going somewhere or making some money. It could be goals about building a family. Did you open yourself up to learn this year? Really learn. You know, coming here on Sunday is fabulous. It's a way for us to connect in community. And we offer classes here also that help you live and breathe and understand what we teach here. And so I can't recommend enough that you take the classes here. And if for any reason, if somebody's sitting out there and thinking, I'd love to take the class. It's not financially doable for me this year. Then please come and see me after Sunday service. Everybody should be able to take a class, regardless of where their financial good is right here and right now. So always ask. We have scholarships. Did I clean up my relationships this year? Really clean them up. Are you good with friends, past, present, and maybe ongoing? Is there somebody that has hurt your feelings and you've unfriended them instead of having a conversation with them? And have you shared your good this year? I would say as a community, we have done that. We did it with Habitat for Humanity. We did it with the bags, blessing bags. We did it with the blessing bags. We did it with gifts of love. We really have done the time, treasure, and talent. And we should be really proud of that. And as individually, even with what you've done with this community, are there other ways that you've really shared your good? And some of that is just sharing yourself. Letting people really know who you are and what you bring to the world. And do you pray? Do you really pray? And some of you, this may be more of an opportunity than for others. I am gifted with the fact that because we've done community first, I pray with the leader champions, and then I have a couple home group leaders. So I literally pray with individuals. I pray with 5 people on Monday, probably 4 on Tuesday, and 3 on Friday, and 1 on Saturday. And it has shifted my life because there is nothing more powerful than prayer. Because what you realize is whether you're saying a prayer out loud for yourself or somebody else, you are shifting the consciousness of the world when you do it, because you're shifting energy. And so I invite you to pray, and a real simple prayer is, thank you, God. It's that simple. Thank you, God. Every moment of every day. Okay, everybody got some things written down that they're ready to let go of? Take a moment. So when you're ready, please come down. Give people space. Don't crowd them. This isn't a rush. So come down with your paper and no, you don't have to say anything out loud. This is between you and God. It's okay. It will disappear, I promise. Toss it up in the air. There you go. That's all right. There's no right or wrong. There you go. All right, Brady. Nice job. Perfect. Heather's done this before. That's all right. Nice. Good job. You did it, Gayle. You got to redo. There you go. Voila. Everybody get an opportunity? How's that feel? All right. Yeah, let's give ourselves a round of applause.